In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on February 8, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Houston Rockets versus Dallas Mavericks. Saturday, February 8th marks an important day in the NBA, with several crucial matchups on the schedule. One of the most anticipated games features the Houston Rockets, who currently hold a 32-19 overall record for the season. However, they are struggling as of late, having suffered 5 consecutive losses. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks, with an overall record of 27-25, are coming off an impressive victory against the Boston Celtics. This game is particularly significant for Dallas, as it will feature the highly anticipated debut of Anthony Davis in a Mavericks uniform when they face off against the Rockets. Both teams are dealing with injuries heading into this matchup. The Houston Rockets continue to be without key players Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams, which has certainly impacted their recent performances. On the other hand, the Dallas Mavericks are still missing Dwight Powell. However, the biggest storyline for Dallas is the expected debut of Anthony Davis, which could provide a major boost to the team. The Mavericks are set to be as healthy as they have been in quite some time, and with Anthony Davis stepping onto the court for the first time in a Dallas uniform, there is a sense of optimism surrounding the team. The Rockets, despite their recent losing streak, were on fire before their slump, making this an intriguing matchup. From a strategic standpoint, it is easy to make a case for the Mavericks, given their potential reinforcements and their opponent's struggles. However, this will be Dallas' first home game since the controversial Luka trade, and the atmosphere inside the arena may not be as supportive as usual. Mavericks fans are frustrated, and they are likely to vocalize their displeasure throughout the game. That type of energy could work against Dallas, potentially disrupting their rhythm on the court. Additionally, the Rockets have been the superior team overall this season, regardless of how you analyze the matchup. Houston has already defeated Dallas in both of their previous meetings this season, so the Houston Rockets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. When looking at the total points scored in games involving these two teams, the trends indicate a high-scoring contest could be on the horizon. This season, the total has gone over in 27 of Houston's 50 games, with one push, resulting in a 27-23-1 record. Additionally, when playing on the road, the Rockets have hit the over in 17 of their 27 matchups. On the other side, Dallas has also leaned toward higher-scoring games, with the over hitting in 27 of their 52 contests, with one push, making their over record 27-24-1. More notably, in their last 10 games, the Mavericks have seen the over hit in 8 of those matchups. Furthermore, Dallas ranks as the 14th fastest team in terms of pace of play, while Houston is not far behind, sitting at 16th. With both teams eager to secure a much-needed victory, the game is expected to feature a fast tempo and plenty of scoring opportunities. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Indiana Pacers versus Los Angeles Lakers. The Indiana Pacers continue their road trip along the West Coast with a stop at the Staples Center, where they will face off against the Los Angeles Lakers. Indiana has been in strong form lately, securing victories in 7 of their last 10 contests, which has propelled them to 4th place in the competitive Eastern Conference standings. Meanwhile, the Lakers have undergone a significant roster change, bringing in superstar Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks in a blockbuster trade nearly a week ago. However, Doncic is still recovering from a calf injury and is not expected to make his debut in Saturday's game. Indiana remains cautious regarding the status of Miles Turner, who appears on the team's injury report, while the Lakers have officially ruled out Christian Wood once again. Additionally, Los Angeles continues to anticipate the long-awaited debut of Doncic. Over their last 4 games, the Lakers have dramatically increased their tempo, averaging an impressive 126 points per contest, which has translated into a 4-game winning streak. This recent run includes quality wins over strong opponents such as the New York Knicks, Los Angeles Clippers, and Golden State Warriors, with the only weaker opponent being the Washington Wizards. Winning 8 of their last 9 games, the Lakers are undeniably one of the hottest teams in the league at the moment. However, despite their impressive stretch, oddsmakers are not favoring them in Saturday's matchup against the Pacers. Although speculation suggested Doncic might suit up against Indiana, the star guard's debut is now expected to take place on Monday. Indiana has been equally impressive, winning 5 of their last 6 games, further establishing themselves as one of the most consistent road teams in the league. Over their last 15 away games, the Pacers boast a stellar 13-2 straight-up record. Pascal Siakam has been instrumental in their success, proving exactly why he was selected as an All-Star this season. He has arguably been Indiana's most valuable player, providing both scoring and leadership on the floor. The Pacers' primary injury concern for this game revolves around Turner, who is listed as questionable due to a neck injury. His potential absence would be a significant setback, as he has been a reliable offensive weapon, particularly from beyond the arc, where his shooting has been a major asset to the team. The Lakers have exceeded expectations during this recent stretch, and the energy surrounding the acquisition of Doncic has only boosted the team's morale. Despite his age, LeBron James continues to dominate offensively, as evidenced by his monstrous 42-point, 17-rebound, and 8-assist performance in their victory over Golden State. The main question remains whether James can sustain this level of play for consecutive games, but playing at home should provide an extra boost for the Lakers. Both teams enter this matchup in excellent form, but Turner's availability could be a crucial factor. Given that he is dealing with a concussion-related issue, it seems likely that Indiana will be without him. His absence negates what would have been one of the few advantages the Pacers could have had in the rebounding battle, especially with Anthony Davis no longer in the Lakers lineup. However, Los Angeles could receive reinforcement in the paint if newly acquired big man Mark Williams is available, providing them with much-needed size inside. LeBron James is currently playing some of his best basketball of the season, and with his championship window possibly closing, this might be his last legitimate shot at a deep playoff run. Securing home wins like this will be crucial for the Lakers if they hope to avoid the play-in tournament and establish themselves as contenders once Doncic returns to action. While Indiana has been the hottest team in the NBA since January, missing Turner will make this a much more challenging matchup. The Lakers, on the other hand, have won 8 of their last 9 games and have also covered the spread in 4 consecutive contests. Since acquiring Doncic, Los Angeles has been playing with a renewed sense of energy, dominating opponents like the Clippers and Warriors. There is a buzz of excitement in the city, and the Lakers will be highly motivated to take down the undersized Pacers. So the Los Angeles Lakers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. In terms of scoring, neither team is expected to face much resistance at the rim, as both squads are dealing with absences in their front court. This should lead to plenty of open driving lanes, allowing for high percentage looks around the basket. If defenses start collapsing in an attempt to stop penetration, that could create additional opportunities for three-point shooters to capitalize. The Pacers currently rank 9th in the NBA in three-point shooting efficiency, while the Lakers are a respectable 15th. On the defensive side, Indiana has struggled, ranking 21st in the league in points allowed and proving vulnerable to turnovers, sitting 23rd in turnover margin. With both teams favoring an up-tempo style, this game has the potential to be a fast-paced, high-scoring affair. Whichever team reaches the 120-point mark first will likely have the best chance of coming out on top. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Atlanta Hawks versus Washington Wizards. This matchup features 2 Southeast Division rivals facing off on the hardwood in the nation's capital, as the Atlanta Hawks take on the Washington Wizards on Saturday night. Atlanta comes into this game fresh off an impressive 115-110 home victory over the Milwaukee Bucks on Friday night in the first half of a back-to-back set. The Hawks managed to secure an outright win despite entering the contest as 2.5-point underdogs. Meanwhile, Washington suffered a 134-124 home loss at the hands of the Cleveland Cavaliers on Friday night, though they managed to cover the spread as 17.5-point underdogs. Historically, the Hawks hold a 169-150 154 advantage in the all-time regular season series against the Wizards. However, Washington has managed to win 2 of the 3 meetings between these teams so far this season. The most recent clash took place on November 15, 2024, when Atlanta claimed a 129-117 home victory. The Hawks are still dealing with the absence of Clint Capela, and they are eagerly awaiting the debut of newly acquired Caris LeVert. On the other side, the Wizards are in a similar position as they continue to wait for Marcus Smart and K.A. Tris Middleton to make their first appearances with the team. Both squads are playing the second game of a back-to-back, but Washington holds a minor advantage in that regard since they did not have to travel following Friday night's contest. The Wizards are in a transition phase, featuring a youthful roster with no real aspirations for playoff contention this season. At this point, their primary focus is on player development. Washington's struggles have been particularly evident on the defensive end, as they own the worst scoring defense in the league. Meanwhile, the Hawks demonstrated their resilience by taking down the Bucks despite facing roster changes on Friday night. It is difficult to support a team that has failed to reach double-digit wins this late in the season, especially when they are 0-8 in the second game of back-to-backs while suffering an average margin of defeat of 22 points per contest in those situations. The net rating statistics further highlight the disparity between these teams. Atlanta currently ranks 21st in the NBA with a -3 net rating, whereas Washington sits at the very bottom of the league with a -13.2 net rating. In terms of offensive production, the Hawks and Wizards have operated at vastly different levels. Atlanta has been scoring at an impressive rate, averaging 128 points per game over their last 3 contests. In contrast, Washington has managed just 105 points per game in their last 5 outings. Although the Hawks have experienced inconsistency in their performances throughout the season, they displayed a strong effort in their comeback victory over Milwaukee. That momentum could carry over into this matchup against a Wizards team that remains shorthanded and has struggled to put together wins. While neither team is a surefire bet at this stage, Atlanta's confidence should be boosted by their recent win, and they appear well positioned to capitalize on that energy in this contest. So the Atlanta Hawks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. This game has the potential to be a high-scoring affair, given the offensive tendencies and defensive struggles of both teams. Leading into this contest, each squad has seen the total go over in 4 of their last 5 games. Atlanta has been steadily increasing their offensive production, averaging 111.9 points per game over their last 10 matchups, with that number jumping to 123 points per game in their most recent 5 outings. The Hawks also pushed the tempo at a high level, ranking second in the league in pace with 103.4 possessions per game. Similarly, Washington has been scoring at a respectable rate, putting up an average of 114 points per game over their last 5 contests. They, too, play at an accelerated pace, ranking 4th in the NBA with 101.1 possessions per game. Both teams are among the fastest-paced squads in the entire league. The Hawks currently rank second in pace, operating at a 104.22 rate, while the Wizards are close behind, sitting 4th with a 102.36 pace. Defensively, neither team has been effective of late. Atlanta has surrendered an alarming 131 points per game over their last 4 outings, while Washington has allowed an average of 112 points per game in their last 5 contests. Given these trends, it is unsurprising that all 3 previous matchups between these teams this season, as well as 7 of their last 10 overall meetings, have resulted in the total going over the projected number. Expect this game to follow a similar script, with both teams pushing the tempo and struggling to contain opposing offenses. The lack of defensive intensity on both ends of the floor should result in a contest where scoring comes at a premium, making it highly likely that this matchup will exceed the total line once again. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. San Antonio Spurs versus Orlando Magic. This matchup features an interconference showdown on the hardwood in the Sunshine State as the San Antonio Spurs travel to face off against the Orlando Magic on Saturday night. San Antonio enters this contest coming off a narrow and disappointing 117-116 loss on the road Friday night in the opening game of a back-to-back set. The Spurs were a significant 10-point favorite in that matchup but failed to cover the spread, ultimately losing outright. Meanwhile, Orlando is also looking to bounce back after suffering a lopsided 112 112-90 defeat on the road against the Denver Nuggets in the final game of their 6-game road trip Thursday night. The Magic struggled throughout that contest and were unable to cover the line as a 6-point underdog. Historically, the Spurs have dominated the all-time regular season series between these two teams, holding a commanding 49-22 advantage. However, recent history tells a different story as the Magic have emerged victorious in the last 2 meetings. That includes their most recent encounter, where Orlando secured a decisive 127-111 victory on their home court on February 8, 2024. The Spurs continue to be without Charles Bassey due to injury, and given that they just played a game the night before, there is a possibility that they could opt to rest Victor Wembanyama at the last moment. On the other side, the Magic remain without the services of Gary Harris, Jalen Suggs, and Moritz Wagner, all of whom are still sidelined. Interestingly, these two teams have yet to face each other this season. Looking back at last year's season series, Orlando had the upper hand, going 2-0 straight up and against the spread. However, this season presents a different scenario, as the Spurs have undergone notable changes to their roster, making them a more competitive squad. Meanwhile, the Magic have failed to maintain the level of success they exhibited earlier in the season. San Antonio has a favorable stretch of games on this road trip, and this particular matchup is one they should view as a winnable opportunity. The Spurs possess a greater degree of versatility compared to the Magic, and with De'Aaron Fox in the lineup, they have the ability to play at an extremely dynamic level. Conversely, Orlando heavily relies on its defensive prowess to dictate the flow of the game. But that approach has not been yielding the desired results as of late. The Magic have allowed their opponents to score at least 110 points in 6 of their last 7 games, exposing vulnerabilities in their defensive schemes. Although the Spurs will have to deal with the fatigue of traveling from Charlotte to Orlando overnight, the trip itself is relatively manageable, and professional athletes are accustomed to handling these back-to-back situations. Over their last 10 matchups against Orlando, the Spurs have posted a solid 6-4 record both straight up and against the spread, which suggests they have the capability to remain competitive in this game. The San Antonio Spurs are coming into this matchup at the tail end of a back-to-back after suffering a heartbreaking loss to the Charlotte Hornets in the closing moments of the game. Recovering from such a defeat can be mentally and physically challenging. Meanwhile, the Magic find themselves in a more advantageous position as they will be playing at home with the added benefit of extra rest. This is the primary reason why Orlando enters this game as slight favorites. However, given the way they have been performing recently, there is an argument to be made that they should not be favored against any team at this point. The Magic have been in a prolonged slump, losing 8 of their last 10 games, and their offensive struggles have been glaring. In 6 of their last 9 contests, Orlando has failed to reach the 100-point mark, which is an abysmal offensive output by modern NBA standards. Strangely enough, their level of play has deteriorated even further since getting key players back from injury, which is a perplexing development. Given these ongoing struggles, it is difficult to justify laying points with the Magic, regardless of the circumstances. Simply put, Orlando desperately needs to figure out how to put points on the scoreboard, so the San Antonio Spurs to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. San Antonio has consistently hit the over in 9 of its last 11 games heading into this contest, including a game on Friday night where they barely edged past the total. With the addition of De'Aaron Fox, one would expect their offensive numbers to continue improving. Over their last 10 games, the Spurs have been averaging 117 points per contest and currently rank 11th in the NBA in terms of pace, averaging 99.3 possessions per game. Meanwhile, Orlando has trended in the opposite direction, staying under the total in 7 of its last 10 games. The Magic have averaged a mere 102 points per game during that stretch and have been held under 100 points in 6 of those contests, while managing exactly 100 points in another. Looking at last season, these teams split their 2 meetings in terms of the total, finishing 1-1 against the number, with their combined average score coming out to 222 points per game. Both squads have struggled offensively this season, ranking in the bottom half of the league in scoring efficiency. Orlando, in particular, possesses the worst offense in the NBA. Neither team averages more than 89.5 field goal attempts per game, which further illustrates their offensive inefficiencies. The Spurs currently rank 18th in the league in possessions per game, with an average of 102, while the Magic sit dead last with just 100 possessions per contest. San Antonio's scoring output has been inconsistent throughout the season, and over their last 7 games, they have been held to 116 points or fewer in 5 of them. Meanwhile, Orlando's offensive woes date back even further, as they have failed to reach 100 points in 11 different games since the start of January. When looking at the broader trends, the under has cashed in 53 games combined between these two teams this season. With both teams dealing with fatigue and struggling to establish a rhythm offensively, the pace of this game is expected to slow down significantly. Given the circumstances, it is likely that this contest will fall short of the projected total. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.